Hi, I'm Loren Cocking, and I'm the Powertrain and Performance Parts Specialist here at Preston GM. And today we're here with Kelly Watson, proud owner of this really beautiful '78 Corvette Anniversary Special hardtop. Kelly, how long did you look for a Corvette?
Well, it goes back a long way, really. Um, Back in the 1960s, I was a Dodge guy and had a '68 Charger RT and a '70 Charger RT. And a friend of mine had a '63 Corvette convertible. And as much as I liked my Dodges, I loved this Corvette. And we did a lot of nice things, a lot of fun things. And in the '70s, where we lived, my next door neighbor had a 1978 pace car. And that was the dream car. I looked at that car. He took me for a ride in it, and I really loved that car. So always in the back of my mind, I was married and we had kids, and Corvettes didn't fit in. And finally, after I retired, and we had the opportunity to look at a few cars and make some decisions, my wife found a 2003 50th anniversary edition Corvette. And we went and looked at it, very low miles. It was owned by a collector, and so we purchased that and had a lot of fun with that car. We made a trip to Bowling Green, Kentucky with the caravan in 2019, which was an absolutely phenomenal trip. We left the lower mainland here, joined the Seattle and Tacoma clubs and a bunch of clubs from down south, and started heading east. And by the time we got into the Chicago area, I believe we had 741 Corvettes going down Interstate 90, and it was a really fun trip. We got to Bowling Green at the museum, and it was the anniversary of the museum. So there was just absolutely Corvettes everywhere, Corvette people, great to talk to people, and that trip was just absolutely over the top. So after we came back from that, and a friend of mine that went with me, he lives in Hope, not living in Hope, but Hope, BC. Anyways, he's got several cars, and amongst his collection was this '78 Corvette, and I kept bugging him about buying it, and he didn't want to sell it.
How long did you bug him for?
Oh, since the Corvette Caravan.
Oh, really?
So it was a couple of years, and then finally in February of this year, he phoned me and he said, "Well, I'm thinking about getting rid of one or two of my cars, and one of them will be the Corvette." So I said, "Well, let's talk." And talk we did.
So what do you know about this particular car's history?
Well, after I looked at the paperwork, I found a name in there, and my friend that I was buying it from lives in BC, so he had the paperwork, and the car came out of the Chicago area. So I looked through the paperwork and I found a name, and I did some research, and I found a phone number, and there was an area that was close to where the car had been. So I phoned and talked to the fellow that had owned it, and he told me that his buddy had ordered the car as a collector. And when he got it, he drove it to the dealership once a year, put it in a heated garage, and kept it in pristine condition.
And it is in pristine condition. This is essentially a 43-year-old brand new car. It's wearing what,
6,100 miles.
6,100 original miles. This is a time capsule car. It's really quite amazing. And now the only thing I think that you've had to replace on it so far are the tires. Is that correct?
The tires were hard as a rock. They were the original tires, and we got exact replica tires. Ordered the tires, so they're the exact replica of the tires that originally came on the car. And other than that, it's fluids because it's so old, and had to change all the oils and all the fluids and everything, the belts and hoses, and then just drive it.
Sparingly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, tell the audience a little bit about what makes the 78, this particular model, so special. I mean, obviously, it's got a very special and distinctive paint scheme on it, but there are a lot of other features built into this car that make it rather unique. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, the C3 Corvette, which this is a C3, up until 1976, the back window was a chopped back window, which didn't really allow for much luggage room in the back. And so in 77 was the first year they went to what they call a bubble back, some people call it, and it gave a lot more room. They refined that in 78 and they came out with what is the Silver Anniversary Edition. And it's just the color on it, the dark gray on the bottom, the silver on top. That is the colors that they brought out for the Silver Anniversary, 25th Anniversary Edition.
What's your favorite part about this particular car?
I just love the looks of it.
I can understand why.
It's a real classic. It's a really nice car. It doesn't drive quite as nice as my 50th Anniversary Edition, the 2003, but it drives very well and it's fun. And when you're driving, people that are going by it, thumbs up, toot the horn, it's just a really fun experience.
And do you drive it very often, Kelly, or do you
drive it in nice weather?
Yeah.
Whenever I can, and just local trips basically.
Yeah. You haven't taken it anywhere of any great distance at this point, I don't believe.
No, I haven't.
Do you have any plans of taking it on a road trip?
Well, I'd love to take it back to Bowling Green in the 2024 Caravan. I don't know if I want to put that many miles on it, though. But they are built to be driven.
They are indeed. Well, it's a beautiful example. It's of a beautiful car, and I can't imagine it having a better owner. I know that you really appreciate the style, the year, the accoutrements that are on the car. It's in good hands, and thank you very much for bringing it out and sharing it with us. We really appreciate it.
Well, it's a great pleasure. It gives me a lot of pleasure just to put it into a scenario like this, where you've got all these beautiful cars, one from each generation, and I'm very proud to have my car represented here in Preston.
And we're very proud to have it on display. Thank you again for bringing it out.